y'all, Mama Duke's Quill and Homestead bringing to y'all some incubator content. What I have here is my little Cubonics incubator. I do love this little incubator. I mainly use it for my quill eggs. What I have in here right now are my button quill. Another name for them is king quill eggs. I have 24 little king quill eggs in here in my Cubonics incubator. As y'all can see, I do have an internal gauge. I have used many variety of countertop incubators. All have pretty much worked the same. I keep an internal gauge in here because it never lines up with the external gauge. As y'all can see, this says 102, but my internal gauge is 99.5 and my humidity is reading 50, which is about where I want it. Some people dry hatch. Everyone should do what's best for them and do your research. However, I do add humidity to mine and I like to keep it no lower than 40. I like it around 50, 99.5 temperature. I have loaded these, so tomorrow will be day 1. On day 6, I can candle them, which means I will be looking for signs of life and whether they're fertile or not. Some people, they crack their eggs to see if they're fertile. However, for me, just because the egg that they cracked was fertile doesn't mean that these are or aren't. So my best way of seeing if an egg is fertile or not is to put it in the incubator on day 6. Check and see if it's developing. In my farm innovator, I have Easter egger eggs. I have 41 eggs in here because it's a 42 egg incubator. However, I have one spot reserved for my internal gauge. As I was saying, with all my countertop incubators, I keep an internal gauge for temperature and humidity because it never matches up to the external gauges. These are Easter eggers, which means that they're not a pure breed. Pure breeds are determined by the American Poultry Association, and pure breeds have specific egg colors, specific feather coloring. I have Easter eggers, True Blue Whitings, Americanas, which are a pure breed, covered by my Americana rooster. The rooster absolutely does play a factor once these eggs hatch and they grow up to be pullets. When they start laying eggs, the hen and the rooster determine the genetics of the chick that will hatch. For example, these are Easter eggers. They are covered by my blue homozygous rooster. So hopefully when these chicks hatch, I will get some more moss eggers, blue eggers, green eggers, olive eggers. But with Easter eggers, it's never a guarantee. Another fun fact, eggs are laid with a protective bloom. That's what protects them throughout this incubation process. Another thing that I do is I try to get standard size eggs. So this would be a good example of a standard size egg. This is a pullet egg. I do not incubate pullet eggs. Why? Pullet eggs are the first few eggs, the first few 6 weeks that the hen first started laying. They don't weigh very much. They're very tiny. They are a delicacy for culinary chefs and people who raise chickens. Some people know that there's an absolute difference between a pullet egg and a hen that has established her egg size and laying. But the first few eggs that she lays in those first couple of months of laying are considered pullet eggs, and this egg tastes richer than a regular chicken egg. This would be considered an egg that I would never put into an incubator because see the size of it compared to the normal egg. When I weighed this, it was almost 60 grams in comparison to the 50 grams of the normal egg. When I weighed my little pullet egg, it was like 48 grams. So I do weigh my eggs. Not everyone does that. I didn't used to do that. I have a little scale that I weigh these on, and I put it on grams and I simply weigh them. I know just kind of by looking at them that this egg here is probably going to be a double yolker. That's why I would never incubate an overly large egg. Why? This is probably going to be a double yolker. With a double yolker, it's probably going to be a conjoined twin. People have hatched twins out of an overly large double yolk, but most of the time it's born conjoined and they don't survive. So this is when a chick hatches, I try to give it its best chance of a healthy, thriving life. So I hope y'all have enjoyed the content. Mama Duke's Quill and Homestead. Hope y'all are having a blessed day. Follow me for more. Hey y'all, Mama Duke's Quillen Homestead. I was showing y'all the very large egg. So a normal egg in comparison to this double yolker. I had just loaded my incubator and explained why we do not incubate these overly large eggs, because I'm betting that this is going to be a double yolker. So let's check my theory. Double yolker. So I was betting on both of these being double yolkers. Let's see how right I am. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm guessing on both of these being double yolkers. Looky there, double yolkers, both of them. That's why we do not incubate these large eggs, because this would have been probably conjoined twins, or they probably would not have developed. Eggs are laid with a protective bloom on them. They have an air sac in the egg, which helps the chick to develop. When you have twins in here, it sucks up the air supply, and so most of the time they stop developing. Mama Duke's Quillen Homestead.